Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. and today I'm reviewing Unlock Kids from Space Cowboys. Unlock Kids, as you might imagine, is the kids version of Unlock, a 1 to 4 player experience that takes the Unlock experience, gives it to you in six roughly 20-minute sessions, playable 1 to 4, like I mentioned already, and it does not use the app. It doesn't use the app at all, which, just in case you wanted to know that. In order to make this review as spoiler-free as possible, and by that I mean spoiler-free, I will go ahead and use the tutorial deck for the how it plays, and then just tell you about my opinion about it, ignoring the actual specifics of the 6 missions inside. To that end, this is Unlock. This is an escape room in a box, in which there is required reading. This is 6+ on the box, and I believe that's accurate just from having gone through it. I think 6+ is approximately right, although it will of course depend on your kids and all that, and there is a little reading required at the beginning of like learning how to play, but then from there you can just dive straight into it. The general idea, as usual, is you're going to have a hand of cards, you're going to have specific scenes, and then you're going to be trying to gather more cards through either figuring out puzzles or alternatively hidden numbers on those cards. Then you'll be using certain things, these little tools and whatnot, to combine things in different ways. Again, we'll show you all of that. So, we have a tutorial deck over here. It says turn the tutorial over and then go ahead and find things. So like typical Unlock, we're going to look for things. We're going to find the 8. That's going to be this little 8 here. Whenever you see a triangle symbol, it means you want a piece. And whenever you see a rectangle, it means you want a card. So we have 8, 2, 3, and 11. We're going to flip over 2 and 3. That's going to give us a specific scene that we can go ahead and look into over here as far as the game goes. We can look at the scene. And then we have the 11, which we'll find as well, and we can again flip that over. The 11 is giving us a key. This is a specific key that will combine in different ways because we have this 8 already, and so you can see how the 8 can kind of combine from the 10 and the 12 depending on what it's paired with, but the key word is depending on what it's paired with. In this case, this over here, this key, do we want to try to pair it with this over here, or alternatively with this? On the cabinets table, you find a key. Flip over the matching cardboard item. That's going to be 6 over here. What is this? We have a key over here. If you take a close look at the backpack, if you find this hidden number, flip the matching component over. So the backpack over here, do we have any other numbers we're fine? No, we have 2, 3, we have 6, we found that. On the backpack, you can see over here, there is a 7 kind of hidden on the backpack. And so that means we're going to go ahead and find 7. So it's walking us through how this works. You're going to have hidden numbers, similar to typical Unlock. We now have a backpack. Hooray, this star means you just gained a star. Across the course of playing Unlock, you're going to gain stars. That's going to determine how well you scored. So the stars are not essential. If you find them, you get more points. You score well. At the end of each adventure, it says, hey, you could have found 7 stars, which gives you an opportunity to look through more stuff if you wanted to. So we now have our star. We still have this key over here. We're trying to figure out how to pair it up. Do we think that the key goes to the window, or do we think it goes to the lock over here? Now, if we look at our key over here, you'll see that you could indeed create the window pairing and get number 5. The problem is, do you think the key goes to the window or the lock? If you think the window, you can try it, but the game will not penalize you necessarily, but it will. We'll draw 5 over here. Uh-oh. This is an error card. Revealing this card means that you did not make the right choice. You can't use a key to open the window. Instead, we're going to use the key to go ahead and unlock the lock instead, which that's going to give us number 9. And if we flip that over, we now have this lock over here. That's going to be a common aspect of the game, the idea that there sometimes are multiple choices and you have to choose the one that thematically makes the most sense, even if there are multiple possible choices in theory. The game sometimes will penalize you with like lost stars or lost whatever if you make the wrong choice, but it won't stop you from actually finishing the game. It's just a ding against how well you did. Over here we now have, this one says get rid of 2, 3, and 6, so we can get rid of all of these, and we have card 4. So we're going to grab card 4. You unlock the padlock. This means you must discard the components you'll no longer use. That we cover that. And then we're going to go ahead, and over here, we now have a choice to make. Do we want to unlock the smelly sock, or do we want to unlock the game? Those are the choices we currently have to make, and I think that it's better to unlock the game. And at this point, I will leave this alone because I don't want to spoil anything that happens next. That is basically what happens as far as the tutorial goes. That is a tutorial for Unlock, and it shows you how it works. You may have noticed that there's minimal required text. The text there was only instructional text. The actual game doesn't really have anything required as far as the text you need for the game. You're going to have these things over here that pair up with cards, making thematic choices as far as the adventures you're unlocking. The game is going to come, you may notice the 3 slashes on the box. The game comes with 3 themes to the game. There's going to be these 3 domains you're going to, each of which will have 2 sets of components, each of which will have a component set, a set of these tokens, and a deck, and then each will have 2 adventures. So each of the 3 themes has 2 adventures using the same components in order to give you the mystery, the adventure, the thing that's happening that you're trying to solve. Each experience takes roughly 20 minutes, and that brings us to the review part of things, starting off with ease of play. Easy to play is everything I said there. You can literally go through the tutorial, and that's it. That's how you play the game. You don't really need to know anything else. Obviously, if you're walking in having played prior unlock experiences, well, you'll have a better idea of how the game system actually plays, and it should be a little easier to jump into it. But for the most part, there is a rule book. There's a whole guidebook as well of hints and everything else. Depending on, I mean, the hints are appropriate for younger aged kids. For the most part, you should be able to figure out a lot of it and reference the hints where necessary, but it's all there. Again, no app, it's all present there, but the actual rules of how to play, easy to dive into, and game time is around 20 minutes per game. As far as what I like, don't like, and can see others not liking, it's unlock. That's what this is. This is the unlock system dialed down in terms of the difficulty to make it more kid-friendly, kid-accessible. That means two things. It means it's not going to be a challenge for you if you've played prior unlock games. If you have played any unlock game, this at best represents a fun little distraction from anything you're doing. There's no serious, real puzzle here compared to an unlock experience. The flip side is that makes it good for kids. This is really well done as far as the difficulty scaling and how long the game is and how much choice there is and the lack of reading to make this very kid accessible. I think they did an excellent job making this a kid-friendly unlock game. As far as what I don't, so as far as what I like, it's unlock. It has all the magic of unlock, and it does so in a kid-friendly, accessible way. As far as what I don't like in the game, not a ton. I would say most of my complaints would all come down to the fact that there are elements of this game that make it not the right fit for me, but make it the right fit for kids. I don't know if I have any serious complaints past that. The game takes the unlock experience and dials it down and makes it kid-friendly. If you're looking for an escape room which your kids can figure out and go through on their own and figure out the puzzle, this has that. The closest thing I can have to a complaint is the nature of the keys does mean sometimes it's a little easy to kind of backtrack your way from the components to try to find different possible options. You will still potentially have to deal with error cards, but there is the opportunity to kind of deduce from the key working your way backwards, which I've seen one of my kids do. So there is that opportunity present in a way that might not be if the app were in play. But that's a minor complaint at best. As far as I can see others not liking, not entirely sure. If you don't like escape room games, I don't think this is going to change your mind. This is more suited for kids though, so there is that. But yeah, this is Unlock for kids. It's everything you might think it would be. If you like Unlock, this is a good adaptation for kids. And if you don't like Unlock, this is Unlock. As far as final thoughts on this one, I don't really rate kids games quite as much. It's a little harder to rate them because for me it's one number, for kids it's another. This is a good experience. If you want to introduce your kids to an escape room game, to a logical puzzle, I think this will work well from anywhere through the ages, I want to say 6 to 12 maybe. I think, and depends on the kid obviously. I think depending on the kid, at 11, at 12, at 13, you might find yourself aging out of the difficulty of this adventure. But I'm not sure. Again, it very much does depend on the kid. I would say my guesstimate is 6 to 12 as far as the target audience for this. It's Unlocked for kids. It's a good game. It gives you that experience. It's everything you think it would be. It is not a disappointment, nor is it a hidden surprise. It's Unlocked for kids. And that's basically it. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you found this video helpful. And as always, I hope you have a good one.